Hi, I'm Alex. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe. I really appreciate it. It would help me get to at least 1,000 subscribers by tomorrow. Thank you. Also, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when I post, which is every week. And give it a thumbs up because this video is not going to be easy for me to do. I hope I don't cry. But yeah, I got all dolled up for you guys, so I hope you appreciate that. Let me start by saying that getting a divorce, it sucks. Okay, it sucks. I don't want to glorify it or push people to get one because I got a divorce. This is not why I'm making the video at all. I just want to share my story for the people who got married really young, and I'm nervous doing this right now. I don't want to hurt anybody. I just want to share my story and hopefully help somebody who's young and who doesn't have anybody to tell them, hey, you probably shouldn't do this right now because you're so young, you're not ready. Like, that's what I would have wanted to hear when I was 18 and decided that I was ready to get married. I think I was 18 or 19. I have changed so much that the lines are kind of blurred with time and details. But yeah, I got married because I got knocked up, and we were both Catholic, so we were kind of just like, I felt, okay, I'm not gonna speak for him, but I felt pressured because I had gotten knocked up to just go ahead and get married, and you don't have to do that. Especially if you're religious. I'm gonna touch on religion a little bit here, but I don't want to offend you if you are religious because it's totally fine. I'm not anymore, but I was raised Catholic. I have Christians in my family. I have Catholics. I'm neither. I am a spiritual person, so I do have morals and stuff like that. I still believe in marriage. I still believe in love, and all of that. So even though this one didn't work out, we were together for a really long time, like almost maybe like about 8 years, 8 or 9 years, which is a long time. He was my first like real relationship, you know, but I can honestly sit here and tell you the brutal truth that I was not in love, that I was pressured by my beliefs at the time. I'm not gonna blame it on anybody. Yes, it would have been nice to have somebody there who was like, hey, who would have had like that talk with me, you know, about like honest talk. But I don't regret it because it taught me a lot and it made me mature in some ways that I think I wouldn't have been able to mature, like living on my own with him. Of course, we built a family together, but like it helped me become more responsible and like budget, and like I'm really good with saving money, and I'm not a party girl. I've never been. I mean, I did party a couple of times just to like try it when I was younger, but it was definitely not for me. But when I was married, I felt like the urge to like want to go and like go to a club or something, and he was like kind of uncomfortable about it. Obviously, it's natural because you're married to somebody and you have children. We had 2 by the end of this whole thing, but yeah, so I was having these urges, you know, and I was like changing too. I changed a lot throughout those years that we were together, and we went through a lot of hard times, like him losing his job. I was a stay-at-home parent for like most of the time, I think all of it, because I did start working from home near the end, like near the 3.5 years, 3.5 years before the end. I started my eBay online business, which I still do. But yeah, besides that, obviously I was staying home with the kids, and they are about 5 years apart, so that was added stress to the relationship. Having children does not make anything easier. You probably heard this before. If you haven't, it doesn't make anything easier. Yes, it's beautiful and it's like a gift that comes with responsibility. Lots of responsibility. And also, you want to make sure that you know your parenting styles with the person who you are having a child with, because that was one of our biggest issues, I think, is having different parenting styles. Okay, Yeah, I think that was one of our biggest issues. Also, I wasn't in love. I don't think he was in love either. I always told him that if we had never had children, I thought we could have been good friends because we got along in general. We got along pretty well. I have no hate towards him or anything anymore. It ended really messy, and I'll get to that eventually. I'm kind of like all over the place. But it did end kind of messy. But I have learned to let go of all of that. I actually still have this is my marriage ring. It's the only one I ever got. It's simple. It's like small little diamonds and like a band. It was my marriage band. It doesn't fit my ring finger anymore because I've lost a lot of weight with all the I lost a lot of weight, which it was really fast and easy too. Once I got out of that situation, which was really stressful for me and tense, and I was really unhappy, okay, for like the last, I had bouts and periods of unhappiness, but during the last I don't know why the camera shut off, but during the last 3 years or so was when I knew I wanted to get a divorce. And that was tough. I was honest with him about it. We separated, and that was me. I did something that I shouldn't have done. I went outside of my marriage to look for that connection that I didn't have with him. So I found it in another guy, which I never met, never got physical or anything like that, but it was still highly inappropriate for being married. I regret that. If I could if I could take anything back, it would be that, because I feel like that really messed him up. Don't cry. I feel like I shouldn't have done that. Okay, I'm gonna keep it together. I just don't like hurting people. So let's move on past that. That was my way of saying I don't want to be in this too. Just like wanting to like go clubbing and like inappropriate things like that, which it could be fine for some couples. I understand. Some couples maybe are okay with like having their other half go club with their friends, but I'm not like that. But I was still having these thoughts and urges, and then I had a connection which was like very shallow and like over phone connection, but it was still like they call it emotional cheating, I guess. I still found this connection in another man, and now I can look back and see that that was wrong, but at the time I was looking for ways out, okay, subconsciously. And he found out about it. We separated. I actually moved out for like a week or so before he was like, come on, come back. And he wanted to work it out. And I was so scared because I knew he would never trust me again. The guy that I was talking to, he was also married, which is really messed up. But he told me how his wife cheated on him and had a child by another man, and how he never forgot about it or forgave her for it. So I had that thought with me, like, even though I didn't have a child or have sex with anybody else, I felt like my spouse at the time would not forgive me, and then I felt like I would be punished, and I regretted what I did, and I totally understood why he was so hurt and betrayed. And obviously you can't trust somebody who does that to you. You know how, well, you can build and you can rebuild trust if you have that foundation of love and like you really both want to. But he wanted to. When I came back to him, I didn't. I came back because I found out I was pregnant with my second child, which was with him. And yeah, so I saw that second pregnancy as a sign that, wait, maybe this is something that I have to keep trying at. On my life, I went back to this horrible relationship, which was horrible for me because I was so unhappy and I was hurting him, and he was never there. I felt like he was never there to help me. Our first child, special needs, and as he grew older and older, it got harder for me to handle him. Mentally, I felt very burdened and stressed out, and I was depressed. Okay, I was very depressed. So anyway, I needed more help. I didn't get it till like this last 6 months that we were together. Finally, I built up the courage to pretty much take our oldest son to his family's house, which lived closest, so I could catch a little break before the dad, my ex-husband, came home, picked him up from his parents' house, and brought him home back. So during the last 6 months, on weekends, I did get a little bit of a break, which was nice. And he was working pretty much every day until late afternoons. So that was really hard on me. Obviously, he was like doing what he had to do to pay bills and all that, and I understand that. But we just weren't right for each other. Yeah, I think we just weren't right for each other. Like I said, I wanted the connection. At the time, excuse me, at the time, I had it in my head that I wanted a deeper connection with my partner that I didn't have with him. And I just didn't see him the same anymore. Like, we had grown apart. I had changed a lot. We had gone through a lot of issues with his family, with me, my mental stability and all of that, which was, it's really hard to deal with a special needs child. And it took me a long time to finally admit to myself that I couldn't handle him anymore. And my ex-husband actually also admitted that he couldn't handle him, but his family ended up talking him into pretty much, if he were to like separate from me, that it would help him with our older son. And he ended up doing that. Or he ended up, well, he didn't really want to. We did have a talk where he was like, I don't want their help. I think he still wanted to work on things, but I was really done and over it. And I didn't want to stay in a situation where I felt like we didn't have that love for each other. I didn't feel it from him either. So it wasn't, I didn't feel like it was just me. I felt like for him it was more like convenience. And for me, I was there for the children. And I told him that too. I was very honest. I was like, when we got back together after I found out I was pregnant with the second child, our second child, I told them that I was back because I thought it was a sign, you know, because of the children, because yeah. So anyway, after our daughter was born, the second baby, that was so beautiful. That was like one of the happiest moments of my whole life, giving birth to her. I don't want to cry. I don't want to cry. Okay. It was really beautiful and different. By now, I'm in my 20s. I'm a little more mature. And it was just like a really different experience and beautiful. And I was really happy to have her. Oh my god. Why am I crying? So, time goes by. It's still the same. I'm not getting enough help. Then an incident happens where he kind of got on top of my daughter, and she was about 1 or 2, no, probably 2 years old, or 2.5. And he didn't know. I don't know what he was trying to do, but I was like in the laundry room because he had an accident, and he was like roughhousing with her. And when I saw that, I freaked out. I panicked. I called the place that helps us with his disability, which is BMRC. If you're in California, it's BMRC. That's what they're called. I call them. I tell them I can't do this. Like, is there any options for me to have him probably put somewhere where he could be taken care of better, where like other special needs kids are? And they ended up sending Child Protective Services to my home. I called to ask for options and help, and they sent Child Protective Services because I was putting away my son's dirty clothes, where he had had an accident in the laundry room, and then the living room was like right there, like super close by. It was like a townhome, so it's really close by. And I felt so betrayed and like afraid that any accident, any mistake, any mishap that would happen would be placed on me, that I would be held responsible and I would be in trouble. And then that my daughter could actually be hurt by her brother. And I didn't blame him. It wasn't his fault. It's not his fault. None of this is his fault. But that was like the breaking point for me, where I knew that something had to change and that I didn't want my daughter to grow up being possibly in danger. That was really difficult. So when I tell him I want a divorce, finally, my daughter is about 2.5, almost 3 years old. After her 3rd birthday, actually. Yeah, this was after her 3rd birthday. I tell him I'm gonna file for divorce. This is it. I'm done. Can't handle anymore. Can't handle this all on my own anymore. His family's complaining when I take our oldest son to them. They're like, why you bring him? And I'm like, I just need a little break. I just want like quiet in my home, because he was always yelling and throwing things. And it was just very chaotic. And yeah, so I just didn't feel supported or accepted. Whatever. Don't want. Or accepted by them. This is hard because I don't want to blame anybody for my choices. Anyway, so I want to do a smooth divorce where we do it slowly, smoothly. We start separating things slowly. I look for a place to live. He looks for a place to live on our own separately. I would take our youngest. He would take him because his family had told him that it was wrong to put him in another environment, pretty much, where he could be better taken care of, which VMRC could provide for a fee. They talked him out of that. At first he agreed with me on it, but then they talked him out of it, which was fine. If they could take care of him, if they wanted to help their son out and their grandson, that was fine, fantastic, great. But it got very messy. I'm not going to go into details because I don't want to cry. There's a lot to this story, and I don't want to make anybody seem like a villain. I was very judged by my decision to not keep our oldest with me. I did it for my daughter's safety and also for my mental stability and peace of mind, that I could step out of a room and leave her and she would not be under any danger. Now we have shared custody. Everything's fine. He gets her one day, I get him one day, so we both have them together one day, and then the other day it's his. He gets both of them. So yeah, anyway, so the divorce was like, I filled out all the paperwork. It was really difficult. I'm not gonna go into details, but he betrayed me in a big, major way, which it took me a long time to let go of. Like, I was in a very angry place. I had to call the cops. Like, cops were called multiple times because I felt so betrayed and taken advantage of. He pretty much took my children to his parents' house, and I was unable to get them or see them. I think my daughter was traumatized by it. I was able to get her back finally after an incident between me and him, where I was finally able to get a court order because he did something that he shouldn't have done, and I finally got her back. I got my son too for like a day, but because of the issues that I mentioned. Also, he was already in school. He already put him in school where he was at his parents' house. He was starting to go there already for like, well, he had been signed up or something. I don't know. I don't remember exactly. So yeah, I ended up dropping him off like a day later, I think. I don't remember. But yeah. Anyway, my mother offered me a home. I moved all my things out into storage, and my family helped me. Even though nobody supported the divorce, they still helped me, which was really nice. I always will appreciate that, especially my mother, because I didn't know where I was gonna go. But at the time I was without a child because they were taken behind my back pretty much. So that made it actually easier to transition. Eventually I rented a room where I'm at now at my brother's house, and I got my daughter back by that time. I got her back fairly quickly, I think within like 2 or 3 weeks. And that was a really like really dark period, hard for me. But it also helped me, like, it taught me how to like handle really stressful situations that were completely out of my control. I'm low on battery. Okay, great. So yeah, that was like an amazing lesson. Even though it was horrible, it was tough. It was like amazing to like get myself to get clear and just focus on filling those papers out, getting my daughter back, getting her away, because she had never slept one night in anybody else's place before she was taken from me. So I was like feeling that like heavily. Don't think about it. Don't think about it. It's all good. It's okay. But yeah, I've let all that go. I pushed through it. I handled it really well. I didn't do any retaliation. I did do some coping things. Alright guys, my camera's dying, so I'm gonna close this video out. I just want to remind people that you don't have to rush into anything, especially if you're really young. You still have a lot to learn. It's okay. Also, don't let other people's opinions or religion dictate what you do in your life. Find your voice. That means make your own decisions, so that way you don't make the wrong ones. If I had listened to my intuition, to myself, to my higher self, I would have made way better decisions. So that's the point of this whole video. It's just that life goes on. Forgive people, let it go. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, comment down below if you have similar stories or if this helped you out in any way. Hopefully it wasn't too much. I try not to share too much so it wouldn't be too dark, because I want to keep this light and fluffy and positive. The channel in general, I just want it to be positive and loving and like fun and like crazy too, but like not too negative. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Comment below, subscribe. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Remember to love yourself forever. That way you can love other people too.